The room was dark, lit only by the moon through the window. A man's voice, low and excited, cut through the silence. "Go on, Bobby. That's it, boy. Into the room." Soft paws padded across the floor. "Go over to the bed. There she is. See? Now, you climb up. Go on." The sound of heavy breathing, and the rustle of sheets. "Do your thing, boy. Be a good dog for me. Make your master proud." Anita's life felt like a beautiful dream. She lived in a small house with her mother, Grace, and her father, Joseph. They did not have much money. Anita often saw her mother worrying about food, and her father seemed always tired from looking for work. But Anita had a big dream, to finish university and become a successful woman who could take care of her family. One sunny day on campus, a man named Ben started talking to her. He was handsome, drove a nice car, and had a kind smile. But Anita was not interested. She wanted to focus on her studies. Ben, however, was very persistent. He would wait for her after class with a cold bottle of soda. He bought her a new phone when her old one broke. He told her, "Anita, you are special. I am a patient man. I will wait for you." After many months, Anita's heart softened. She agreed to be his girlfriend. Everyone at school talked about them. Ben treated Anita like a queen. He bought her beautiful clothes and took her to nice places. But one thing was very strange. Ben told her he did not want them to have sex. He said he was a serious Christian and wanted to wait until they were married. He even bought her gifts to use alone, saying it was important to be pure. Anita thought it was unusual, but she also respected him for it. He seemed like such a good man. Time flew by. Anita graduated from university. On that happy day, with her friends and family cheering, Ben got down on one knee. He held out a sparkling ring and asked, "Anita, will you make me the happiest man in Lagos? Will you marry me?" Anita's hands trembled. She felt a small, cold knot of fear in her stomach. Was she ready for marriage? But everyone was looking at her, her parents were crying with joy, and Ben's face was full of love. How could she say no? She whispered, "Yes." The crowd erupted in cheers. The wedding planning was a whirlwind. Ben's family was warm and welcoming. He spent so much money to make it a perfect day. For Anita's family, it was a miracle. Ben started giving Joseph money for food and bills. He promised to buy Anita a car after the wedding. Joseph told everyone, "My daughter has brought a blessing to this family." The wedding day was huge and beautiful. Anita felt like a princess. That night, in their new, big house, she was nervous but ready to be a proper wife. But Ben just hugged her and said he was too tired from the celebrations. "Tomorrow, my love," he whispered. Tomorrow came, and then the next day, and the next. Ben always had a reason. He was busy. He was not feeling well. Anita started to feel a deep worry. Why was he avoiding her? One evening, 4 of Ben's friends came to visit. They brought expensive champagne to celebrate the marriage. They were very loud and friendly. One of them, a man named Tunde, said, "Sister Anita, we have heard so much about your cooking. Can you make us your famous pepper chicken?" Anita, happy to be a good hostess, rushed to the kitchen and made the meal. When she served it, they cheered. "You cannot eat alone," Tunde said. "Join us. Have a drink with your husband's friends." They poured her a glass of golden champagne. Anita did not really like alcohol, but she did not want to be rude. She took a few sips. The drink tasted sweet and sharp. Very soon, the room started to spin. The loud laughter of the men sounded far away, like an echo in a tunnel. Her head felt heavy, and everything went black. She woke up the next morning in her bed. Her body felt sore and strange. Ben was smiling beside her. "My wife," he said gently. "You were amazing last night. We finally became one." You were so happy, shouting with joy. Anita's blood ran cold. She tried to remember. She searched her mind, but it was a complete blank. There was nothing there. No memory of being with her husband. No memory of joy. Just a dark, empty space where the night should have been. "Ben. I don't remember anything," she said, her voice shaking. He laughed softly and kissed her forehead. It is the alcohol, my love. You were just very tired. You wanted it so much. A few weeks later, the friends came again. This time, they brought a dark drink called Hennessy. The same thing happened. They asked for pepper chicken. They insisted she join them. This time, when Anita woke up, Ben told her the same story. But now, she saw proof on her body and on the sheets. Something had happened. But her mind was still a terrifying blank. This time, anger rose in her chest. She confronted Ben. Why can I only be with you when I am asleep? Why does it only happen when your friends come? Why can't we be together now, while I am awake? Ben's kind face vanished. It was replaced by a mask of cold fury. What are you saying? He snapped. Are you accusing my friends? I know you do not like them. You are trying to push them away from me. He stormed out of the room. Anita was left alone, trembling. The kind, patient man she married was gone. In his place was a stranger. And she was more afraid than she had ever been in her life. She knew, with a sickening certainty, that the next time his friends visited, she had to be ready. She would not drink their champagne. She would not eat their food. She would pretend. She had to discover the terrible truth hiding behind her husband's smiling eyes. If you are enjoying the story so far, hit the like button, and subscribe to support my channel. Thank you. The next visit came a month later. The same 4 friends arrived, laughing and slapping Ben on the back. One of us is getting engaged, Tunde announced. We must celebrate in your fine house. Anita's heart hammered against her ribs like a trapped bird. She forced a smile. She made the pepper chicken, her hands trembling as she chopped the vegetables. When she served it, Tunde grinned and poured a glass of red wine for her. Come, sister, he said, his eyes glinting. A celebration is not sweet without the beautiful bride. Anita's mind raced. She did not want to drink it. But how could she refuse without making them suspicious? Just as she lifted the glass to her lips, a tremendous boom shook the windows. It sounded like a transformer had exploded right outside their gate. Ah! What was that? Everyone yelled. In a panic, all the men, including Ben, rushed outside to see what had happened. This was her chance. The moment they were gone, Anita leaped into action. She ran to a potted plant in the corner and poured the entire glass of wine into the soil. She then ran back to her seat, slumped in her chair, and closed her eyes, pretending to be asleep. A few minutes later, the men returned, arguing about the noise. They saw Anita, seemingly passed out. Tunde clicked his tongue. Ah, Ben. This one, she does not drink plenty. She has gone already. She heard her husband's voice, low and strange. This one, she will just go. It will not be like the other one. The other one? The words echoed in Anita's mind, freezing her blood. What other one? Ben had never spoken of another wife or girlfriend. A new, deeper layer of fear wrapped around her heart. Ben lifted her gently and carried her upstairs to their bedroom. He laid her on the big bed. Sleep well, my wife, he whispered, but his voice sounded cold and distant. Then he went back downstairs. As soon as he was gone, Anita's eyes flew open. She crept out of bed and tiptoed to the kitchen. Her hands shook as she opened a drawer and pulled out the longest, sharpest knife she could find. The cold metal felt heavy and dangerous in her hand. She hid it under the pillow on her side of the bed and then lay down again, pretending to be deeply asleep. She heard Ben come back upstairs. He did not come to the bed. Instead, she heard a soft click. He was unlocking the back door of their bedroom, the one that led to the enclosed yard where he kept his big, fierce dog, Bobby. Why was he opening that door? Her body went stiff with terror. She listened to the quiet sounds. A low whine. The scratch of claws on the tiled floor. Ben was leading Bingo into their bedroom. She heard him pat the dog. This one, she will just sleep, Ben murmured to the animal. Go do your thing. Do your thing so that when you finish, money will come out. Anita's breath caught in her throat. What did that mean? Do your own. Then, she felt the bed dip. A heavy, warm weight pressed down on the mattress next to her. She could smell the dog's scent, hear its panting breath right by her face. She dared to open her eyes just a slit. In the dim light, she saw Bobby's large shape. The dog was moving on top of her, its instincts taking over. It knew what to do. A scream built in Anita's throat, but she choked it back. This was the horrifying truth. This was what her husband had been doing to her. He was using his dog. As the Bobby loomed over her, a surge of pure survival exploded inside her. In one swift movement, her hand shot out from under the pillow. The shiny blade of the knife caught the light. With a cry of rage and terror, she thrust the knife into the dog's side. Bobby yelped once, a sharp, pained sound, and then collapsed beside her, still. Anita scrambled out of bed. She ran out of the room, down the stairs, and out the front door into the dark, sleeping night. She ran and ran, the knife still clutched in her hand, until she saw the bright lights of a police station. She stumbled inside, sobbing and telling her broken, unbelievable story to the first officer she saw. A kind-faced woman police officer named Rita listened. She took the knife and gave Anita a blanket and some water. "It is a terrible story," Officer Rita said softly. "But we cannot just arrest a man because of a story. There is no evidence. The dog is there, but how do we prove what you say is true?" The next morning, Officer Rita and two other officers took Anita back to the house. Ben answered the door. He looked calm and surprised. "Officers, is everything all right?" he asked. Anita stared past him. The house was spotless. The bedroom was clean. There was no dog. No blood. Nothing. "My wife has not been well," Ben told the officers, his face full of fake concern. "She has a mental sickness. She is imagining things. That dog she is talking about, Bobby, died 3 years ago." Anita felt the world crumbling around her. He had cleaned everything. He had a perfect answer for everything. She was sure the officers would not believe her. But Officer Rita was looking at Ben very carefully. Later, at the station, she pulled Anita aside. "I believe you," she said. "We did some checking. The woman Ben was married to before you. She died only 6 months after their wedding. And you have been married for 5 months. Something is very wrong here. You need to call your mother." Anita's mother, Grace, arrived at the police station, her face etched with worry. When Anita told her everything, Grace held her tight, her body trembling with a mother's fury. They went back to the house with Officer Rita to confront Ben, but he was like a stone wall. He denied everything and simply said, "Tell my wife to come home. If she does not come home, I do not want to hear anything." Then, a terrible thing happened. Ben called Anita's father, Joseph. He must have promised Joseph more money, because soon, Joseph called Anita, his voice booming through the phone. "Anita, this is nonsense. You must go back to your husband's house immediately. Do you hear me? He is a good man." Grace tried to explain, but Joseph refused to listen. "You and your mother are trying to spoil a good marriage," he shouted. "You are lying." Officer Rita looked grave. "This thing is deeper than I thought," she said to Grace. "It has a spiritual smell. You need to see someone who understands these matters." Desperate, Grace took Anita to a wise old man who lived in a small prayer house on a hill. He was known for his spiritual sight. The moment he saw Anita walking towards him, he pointed a bony finger at her, his eyes wide. "Death," he cried out. "I can see death following this child. It is sitting on her shoulder." He closed his eyes, chanting softly, "You have only 3 weeks to live. The connection is through your father. To break it, your father must come here. We must perform prayers to send this evil back to the one who sent it. If your father does not come, the death meant for you will take him instead." Grace ran back home and begged Joseph to come with them. She told him about the death sentence and the only way to break it. Joseph laughed a harsh, angry laugh. "Nonsense," he yelled. "You and your juju stories. I will not listen to this foolishness." The next day, Joseph came home driving a brand new car, a shiny Highlander SUV. He was smiling. "A gift from my good son-in-law," he announced proudly. Grace and Anita were horrified. They went back to the old man on the hill. He was very sad. "The father has chosen his path," he said. The evil cannot return to the husband now because the father has accepted his gifts. The only way to save Anita now is to transfer the curse onto an object the husband will use. Do a 10-day prayer. Then, take this special powder and sprinkle it inside that new car. Your father must take the car to the husband. The husband must drive it. If he drives it, he will die. If he does not, then your father will die in his place. It was a terrible choice. But Anita was fighting for her life. After the 10 days of prayer, she and Grace secretly sprinkled the fine white powder on the driver's seat of the car. When Joseph came out to go and see Ben, they begged him. "Papa, please," Anita cried. "Make sure Ben drives the car. If he does not, you will die." Joseph just laughed, shaking his head. "You and your mother and your superstitious powder, you are crazy." He got into the car and drove away. He returned hours later, his car filled with bags of rice, money, and other gifts. He was happier than they had seen him in years. "Papa, did he drive the car?" Grace asked, her voice tight with fear. "Drive the car? Why would he drive my car?" Joseph chuckled. "Ben is a wonderful man. He took me to a big restaurant. He promised to build us a new house. Anita, he is coming for you tomorrow. You will go back to your husband, and you will behave yourself." Anita felt a cold dread wash over her. The old man's warning echoed in her ears. If Ben did not drive the car, her father would die. And tomorrow, Ben was coming to take her back to that house of horrors. That night, she could not eat. She could not sleep. She was a prisoner in her own home. Her mother, Grace, made a special dinner, trying to calm everyone. "Eat, my husband," she said to Joseph softly. "Eat, my child." Anita picked at her food, but Joseph ate heartily, still boasting about Ben's generosity. The atmosphere was heavy with fear and unspoken words. The next morning, the house was silent. Anita woke up and went to her parents' room. Her father was still in bed. She called his name softly. He did not move. She shook him. His skin was cold. Joseph was dead. Anita screamed. Grace came running and held her daughter as they both cried. Anita was heartbroken and filled with a guilty horror. She believed the spiritual curse had worked because of the powder they had put in the car. She had, in a way, killed her own father to save herself. The weight of it was crushing. Life became a grey, sad blur. Anita did not die. Ben, surprisingly, never came for her. Perhaps her father's sudden death scared him away. Anita and Grace moved into a small rented room, living in quiet sadness, bound together by their shared loss and terrible secret. Weeks turned into months. One evening, they were arguing about a small thing, but all the pain and anger of the past year came bubbling out. "You don't understand how I feel, Mama," Anita shouted, tears streaming down her face. "I have to live every day knowing that my life was bought with Papa's death. I asked you to put that powder in the car. It is my fault." Grace looked at her daughter, her own eyes filled with a deep, ancient sorrow. "No, my child," she said, her voice a broken whisper. "It is not your fault. It is mine." Anita stopped crying, confused. "What do you mean?" Grace took a deep, shaky breath. "The powder. The curse from the old man. It was not real. I saw that your father would not listen. He was going to give you back to that monster. He was blinded by money and would have let you die. So, I made a choice. That last dinner, I put something in his food." The world stopped. Anita stared at her mother, unable to process the words. "I poisoned your father, Anita," Grace whispered, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. "I poisoned him. I did it to save you." Anita felt the floor disappear beneath her. The spiritual curse, the old man's prophecy, her own guilt, it had all been a lie. The truth was far more simple, and far more terrible. Her mother was not just her protector. She was a murderer. And the man she killed was Anita's father. A storm of emotions raged inside Anita, love for her mother who had sacrificed everything for her, and a burning, furious anger at the woman who had taken her father's life. Without saying a word, she turned, ran out of the house, and disappeared into the bustling Lagos night, leaving her mother and the horrifying truth behind. The end. Thank you for watching this story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comment section. What did you learn from this story, and please share the story out with your loved ones. Give the story a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now until I bring another story your way. Bye.